So, let's dive right in. What does it really mean to be a teacher in this digital age? You know, it's a question that's so much bigger than just knowing which apps are cool. We're going to explore a huge shift in thinking today, the idea of putting our learning goals first and letting the technology come second.
You know the feeling, right? It's the classic dilemma. You see all these flashy new tools, a never-ending parade of apps and platforms, and you feel this pressure to use them. But we have to stop and ask the big question. Are we just keeping our students busy, or are we actually designing learning experiences that mean something? To really see what this looks like in action, let's follow the story of Maya. She's a brand new teacher, full of that great energy, and she's super eager to bring technology into her classroom. She's pretty much the perfect stand-in for so many of us trying to figure this whole thing out. Now this is where it gets really interesting. On the left, you see Maya's first try. I mean, she's got it all. Slides, videos, even a fun Kahoot game. But what's the result? Total distraction. Yeah, the students are clicking, they're swiping, but are they learning? Now look to the right. That's the goal. Technology that's driven by a clear purpose. Something that leads to real, authentic engagement.
And this quote from Liz Kolb just hits the nail on the head. She calls it false engagement. It's that trap we all fall into, thinking that just because a student looks busy on a device, they must be learning. But a lot of the time, they're just engaged with the tool, trying to get the high score in the game, not with the actual learning goals.
So let's be super clear here. Kahoot is not the enemy. Videos are not the problem. The tools themselves, they're totally neutral. The real issue is the approach. Maya's challenge wasn't that she didn't have enough tech, it was that she didn't have a framework for using it with a real purpose.
And that brings us to what might be the single most important mindset shift for a modern teacher. It's this idea of moving away from being just a tool user, someone who basically just hands out apps, and becoming a learning designer. Think of it like being an architect who carefully chooses every material to build something amazing and intentional.
Okay, so how do we actually make that shift? A fantastic starting point is something called the TPACK Framework. This is like your guiding philosophy. It says that to really teach well with technology, you need to master 3 things that overlap. Your content knowledge, that's the what you teach, your pedagogical knowledge, the how you teach, and your technological knowledge, the tools you use. And the real magic? It happens right in the middle, where all 3 of those connect.
TPACK is brilliant. It gives us the why these 3 things are so critical. But for a teacher like Maya, standing in front of a classroom of students, she also desperately needs the how. How does she actually plan a lesson that puts learning first, like right now?
And that's where the TPACK framework comes in. This is our practical, hands-on toolkit. It makes us ask 3 simple but really powerful questions about any piece of tech we want to use. First, does it truly engage students in the learning itself? Second, does it enhance their understanding in a way that, say, a plain old worksheet just couldn't? And third, does it extend that learning beyond the classroom walls, connecting it to their real lives? All right, let's circle back to Maya. She's got this new mindset. She's armed with her new toolkit. She's not just thinking about which app looks cool anymore. She's thinking like a learning designer, and she's about to completely transform her lesson.
I mean, just look at this transformation. It's night and day, right? Before, the activity was a Kahoot quiz, and the focus was just on winning the game. The outcome? That false engagement we talked about. But now, the new activity is all about using a tool like Padlet to collaborate on a real-world problem. The focus shifts from winning to solving, and the outcome is real, authentic collaboration.
So let's break down her new lesson using those triple E's. First up, engagement. By working together on this shared problem, her students aren't just passively receiving information anymore. They're active, they're social, they're building knowledge together. That's the first E. Check.
Next up, enhancement. I mean, sure, could they have brainstormed on a piece of paper? Yeah, probably. But a tool like Padlet actually adds value. It gives them a digital space where they can add links, images, and see everyone's ideas pop up in real time. It enhances the whole process in a way a traditional tool just can't match.
And finally, extension. This is so key. The whole lesson is now built around a problem from the real world, so the learning doesn't just die when the bell rings. It builds a bridge to the students' actual lives, giving them skills and understanding that feel real and relevant. And that's all 3 E's.
So what's the result of all this? It's powerful. We're not just talking about a quieter classroom or even better test scores. We're talking about students who get to a much deeper level of understanding because they're genuinely, authentically engaged in their own learning. And really,
Isn't that the goal we're all shooting for?
So now the question gets turned back to you. As you move forward on your own teaching journey, which path are you going to take? Are you going to see yourself as just a content deliverer, someone who just passes on facts? Or are you going to step up and embrace the role of a learning designer, an architect of truly meaningful experiences?
To help you get started on that path, here's a little challenge. Take a minute to start defining your own digital teaching identity. First, think about one belief you have about technology in the classroom that might have shifted, even a little, after hearing this. Then, pick one new strategy you're curious to try out. And finally, and this is the most important part, share it. Talk to someone about it. Get the conversation started.
And let's just end on this one thought. The apps, the platforms, all the shiny new devices, they are going to change constantly. That is an absolute guarantee. But if you anchor your teaching in the purpose of designing authentic, meaningful learning, your foundation will always be solid. Learning first, technology second.